World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson and Teri Angel here for a meditation a day. Today we're doing what we call meditation excavation, which is where we're going to meditate together. We invite you to meditate right along with us. And then we just share with you what messages Spirit has for us. And there's always a message, always unexpected. So we're glad that you're here with us. Teri, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Ruth, and good morning, everyone. Let's start out our meditation time by going into our hearts. So if you would, just focus your energy to your heart. When you breathe in, breathe deep into the heart. And I'm going to call in our angels while you do that to surround us, guide us, and protect us as we do our meditation. Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing, comes to us from the east, place of all beginnings. Archangel Michael from the south. Michael is our protector, our guardian, one who helps clear the way and cut any cords that need to be cut. Archangel Gabriel, coming in with the energy of water, clearing and cleansing, helping us to see things in a different perspective. And Archangel Uriel, the angel of earth, helping us to ground and balance. And that's what we're doing with our breath as we breathe into the heart, asking Uriel to guide our energy down into Gaia, to the very core of Gaia, as we receive that healing and balancing energy, strengthening us, helping our focus, and then breathe that back up through your feet, through your legs, all the way up to the other chakras, sacral, solar plexus, and into your heart center, and anchor it there. And then we'll take one more breath in, and let this breath flow upward, up with your energy, lifting you up, straightening the spine, going out the crown chakra, and connecting in with the divine, calling in Divine Mother, Christ, Holy Spirit, our Creator, God, angels and archangels, loved ones in spirit, ascended masters. And want to add in the galactic realm as we connect in spiritually. And let's let that energy flow back down to us, going back to our crown chakra, past the third eye, the throat, and anchoring in our heart along with the earth energy. And take a moment to breathe all of that in. Just sit with it. Enjoy the energy as we go into this meditation time, wherever it may take us. We have no idea.
Thanks, Teri. So Teri, the first thing I saw was Divine Mother, and she was sitting with a globe. And Teri and I had just been talking about travel and making some travel plans. And what she said, Teri, was as you travel, see places as next door. She said it's not a big deal to get there. She said, just as you collapse the dimensions, collapse the spaces between locations, kind of like an accordion. You can either collapse the space between the places, or you can expand it. And she said, when you collapse the space between places, it's as if every place is right next door. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does. I love that. Yeah, I heard easy peasy.
Yeah, it's all in our perspective.
Mhm.
If we think, oh, that place is hard to get to, or it takes a long time, or it's a hassle, or whatever, it's gonna be,
Mhm.
but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
So now she took a flashlight. This is interesting, and she's looking at different. I'm using the term globe loosely, but it's like she's looking at the planet, and she's using a flashlight. Okay, Terry, I heard the term Atlantis. I know zero about Atlantis, but are some folks thinking that Atlantis was like in the Hawaii area?
Mhm.
Have you heard that?
Yes, I have heard that. In fact, somebody just mentioned that this morning when I was talking about Hawaii. Yeah, I think it's entirely possible. So I'm going to just say anything is possible. And if it's something that I need to be aware of, we need to be aware of, then it will be shown. That's why we ask for angelic guidance in this, to have them bring that image forward for us.
I'm being reminded of dimensions again and seeing Atlantis as if it were in a different dimension. And then she's according, what's the word? Like according, collapsing this, like if it's in a dimension below us, then collapsing the space, bringing that dimension upwards to the dimension we're in. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, I'm
And
having a
it's,
hard time seeing it.
yeah, it's like layering. That's what it
Yes.
feels like. Yeah.
And
Because when I look
some,
at dimensions, it's like an energy field that you go into and out of. But the way she's describing it, it's like flattening that dimension and like
right,
laying papers on top of each other, just layering it.
right. So I guess that could explain why, let's say if you go to Hawaii, then you might feel a connection to Atlantis while you're there because that space of the dimensions has been flattened out, removed. Whereas other times, if the space is expanded between those dimensions, then you may not think about it at all while you're there.
Mhm. Hmm.
So she just took me to Garden of the Gods in Colorado. And Terry, remember when I was at Garden of Gods and you were at Mount Shasta, and the connection between the energy of the mountain ranges was really intense to
Yes.
us. And what she's showing me is that the dimensions, the space between the mountains was lessened for our experience at
Mhm.
that time. So it made it feel closer and more connected, more intense.
We were right together. And that's was what it felt like, that we were right beside of each other doing that blessing. Mm. Okay. So yeah, so it's all making sense. It's all coming together with what she's teaching us here, to collapse time and space.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And earlier, when Terry and I got together, I was looking through old notes to figure out when I had first gotten a particular message, because the message is coming through loud and clear now. We found it back in May, but as I was looking through those notes, trying to find it, it's as if that time was collapsed.
Mhm. Yeah, and you had even thought it was earlier than what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time is strange. I was just talking about that before I came to be with you. It's it's interesting to look at linear time and then to leave that and look at spiritual time, divine time. It's always perfect.
Okay. So have you ever, I know you have, spoken with somebody you haven't talked to in years, and it's as if no time passed whatsoever?
Yes.
Yeah, just picked up on the conversation and moved forward. And what they're showing me is like collapsing that time, putting you back in that space, collapsing the time between. So really no time passed.
Right. Mm.
Of course, my mind jumps to this is so cool, and where is this going? Well, it makes you wonder about the constructs of time and space.
Right.
I'm thinking of some of the ascended masters, Einstein and Newton, and some of the great physicists, and wishing I could sit down and talk with them and ask them what they knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know they got more downloads, more information than what they wrote about or talked about. So it would be interesting to pick those brains.
Well, and I'm seeing that in order for the earth to run smoothly, we need order, and we need days to have 24 hours and 60 minutes each, and that kind of thing. Otherwise there would be chaos if there was this expansion and collapsing of time and space here in the 3D. It would just be chaos.
Right.
But I'm thinking on the other dimensions, the other levels above us, it's not that way. Teri, this is the last chapter of that book we never wrote.
I think that book has been written. We just have to publish it.
Yeah.
I think all the words are there. Everything is in perfection with it. And yeah, this is the ending of it. The collapsing dimensions. Yeah, I'm still getting a very clear image of the layering with the dimensions and how we envision space between things, but we can see the energy of everything all together. The accordion, as you saw, Ruth, and see it all squishing together and not having any space between it. And isn't that really how our life is? We've had all these experiences, everything that's taken place in our life, but it's all squished together in who we are.
Mhm.
There's really no distance, no space between that. It's all just right now, our energy.
I'm smiling, Teri, because what I heard was like a fine French pastry. All the tiny little layers of dough.
Right? I know. They're so thin. And yet it comes together to make a complete whole that's beautiful and delicious, just like our lives.
Yep.
Mm, I love that.
Well, so the concept of when somebody transitions, it's as if someone looks at them as a pastry and goes, "Yep, they're done. All the
Mhm.
layers are there. They're done."
Right?
Hmm.
It's complete.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why the angels keep reminding that there's nothing missing. You have everything. And so when you feel into the lack, something's missing or something needs to be fixed, you're missing the point of being a whole. There's nothing wrong. So many times we think we have to change and adapt and do things in a different way, but everything is working perfectly together. I love this. Seeing the collapsing. I love that today. Hmm.
Of course, my brain goes to, okay, how do we use this? In meditation, in our work with spirit, how do we use this?
Well, for me, it's tuning into that wholeness, tuning into the fact that there's nothing missing. There's no lack at all. And seeing all of the experiences together, seeing all of um, what is to come, what has been, all of that energy together. And when we talk about manifesting, it's just a matter of collapsing that space that we think is there, but it's not. Just see it layered onto everything else that's in your life and watch it just be there. There's no going out and finding it, it's already there.
Right. Or it's just one tiny little thin layer away, which is so much easier to achieve
Mm-hmm.
than something that feels so far away. Well, and I wonder, Teri, too, though, the sessions that we have once a month, either for the intention for the new month or the
Mhm.
Earthlight Coalition. And if we can sense the time and space continuum is collapsible,
Mhm.
how does that impact those sessions?
Yeah, which we have one tomorrow. So I think that would be a great starting point to bring that up and do that.
Well, and if you look at the month, the 30, 31 days of the month and collapse those, it's like when they say time flies. Like you've got some months that are faster and some months that are slower. Is it just that the accordion is either collapsed more or more expanded?
Mhm. I think so. I think it's definitely been collapsed in July. July
Yes.
has been a little streak, like a streak across the sky, and it's gone. But so much took place during that time. Now it's time to process it and bless it and move forward and bring in this newness. I just feel a lot of water energy today. Water has been so prominent in my life this last, I guess, week or so. And there's a big lesson there. Focus on the water. I know years ago when there were a lot of shifts and changes that were starting to happen, and the angel's huge message was pay attention to the water. Anytime we have a shift in the energy here on our earth, pay attention to what's happening with the water.
It's interesting as you're saying that, Terry, as I'm looking at the oceans, I'm also watching the accordion get broader, 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 broader.
Mhm.
If you focus on any one thing, it's like the law of attraction. Whatever you're focusing on expands.
Mhm.
Yeah, Divine Mother's flipping through one of those calendars that like the pages just fly by.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. What is looking to me like, Terry, is that each one of us sets our own pace. How fast your time is flying, the dimensions. We're setting our own accordion collapse or expansion.
Right.
And I know that there have been times when a person is in trauma, like they just lost a loved one or some horrific thing has happened, and I have experienced that myself with family illness, and looking at other people and thinking, how are they not impacted? How is my life going so slowly right now, and every minute is dragging, and other people are not impacted at all. And I think it's because we all have set our own pace for every minute, every day.
Mhm.
So one person's July is past. Somebody else's July is just like dragging.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's an invitation for us to stay in the moment, stay in the now. And we can be the observer of all of this. We can see the dimensions, see the layers, see the energy and the shifts and the changes, but staying very present with who we are, what we are, and not getting caught up in the chaos and in the shifts, but bringing in that energy of peace as we do stay in the stillness. It's all a mindset. How are we reacting and responding to the shifts and changes, to a month that seemed to fly by? Just how are we doing in each moment?
Okay. So going with that, what I'm just seeing is we can set our pace to somebody else.
Mhm.
And I think that's what happens with politics in particular. Folks will set their pace. They sort of turn into a chameleon, taking on the pace of like a political figure. And I think when we do that, not only are we incredibly aware and concerned with what's happening with them, but then we're not in alignment with ourselves. We just totally lose our own pace, our own timing, because we're glomming on energetically to that other person.
Mhm. Yeah. And it could even be a world leader
Right.
that we pay attention to and get caught up in what's happening in that part of the world. Yeah, there's a lot to this. It goes very deep as we center and balance, and then we can see it more clearly.
Right. The importance of setting your own pace. As you say all the time, stay in your own lane.
Mhm. Yeah, don't go into the spin. In that spin, you're out of your heart and you're out of the peace. Doesn't mean you don't care about what's happening in the world. You're just not being caught up in the spin and the twirl of it. It's like the tornado. You can watch a tornado, but you don't have to stand there in the middle of it and be spun around. It's very devastating and probably fatal. So the same thing with the energy. You see things swirling and chaotic. You don't have to jump into the middle of it. We're more effective when we stay peaceful, when we stay calm, and then we can bring in that energy outside of ourselves and shine it outside. And let others, when others see that you're calm, it calms them. If you're panicking and you're twirling, then others start to do that as well. So we're making a difference by staying in our now moment, staying peaceful. That's how we lift up the vibration.
Well, the importance of prayerful meditation in all that too.
Yes.
I think when we meditate, it's like we step out of the layers, we step out of the dimensions, And then we can get a fresh perspective and then step back in. But as we step out, we can just leave all of that behind.
And it's a practice. So for some people, they have to hold on tight to the chaos and whatever the traumas, whatever it is that's going on. But it's really simple once you get into the mindset and once you practice it to, like Ruth said, just step away from it for a minute. Be the observer instead of participating in it.
There's something, Terry, about the tsunami with this. I mean, I understand we've gotten most of the message because Divine Mother was clapping and was like, yay, you got it.
Yeah.
But there is something about the tsunami. She seemed to collapse the energy around it.
Mm-hmm.
Might close the accordion on it.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah, kind of like don't make it a bigger thing than it is. Just close the energy on it and move on. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, powerful.
I know this is not the first time we'll be seeing this as a concept. What they typically do with this is they give us these introduction meditations, and then over the next couple months, we'll learn more about it. So, we'll see where this goes. Divine Mother, very, very strong. Actually, she's
Yes.
the only one I saw today.
Yeah. I felt Gabriel because of the water energy. And water is clearing and cleansing. So even storms that we might look at as destructive and we don't want that, it's doing something. It's clearing away something that we need to see. And yeah, I don't like going through storms myself, but then the after is where we really get the clarity and we get more understanding. Yeah, Gabriel was definitely helping to guide that.
And I just saw Archimedes. Who is Archimedes?
No idea. I mean, I've heard the name, but I don't know. Don't know what part he plays in all of that.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. All right, Terry, thank you so much for
Thank you.
this. Interesting. We'll see
Hmm.
where this goes.
Yeah, very enlightening.
Yes. Well, friends, thank you for being here. If you experience anything with this meditation, we'd love to know. So, friends, take good care. God bless. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.